Keto. You've heard the stories. People dropping weight fast by eating bacon, butter, and avoiding bread like it's poison. The ketogenic diet is a very low-carb, high-fat eating plan, typically restricting carbs to just 20 to 50 grams per day. The goal is to force your body into a state called ketosis. Normally, your body runs on glucose from carbohydrates for energy. When you severely restrict carbs for a few days, your liver starts converting fat into fatty acids and ketone bodies. These ketones then become the primary fuel source for your brain and body, a backup system for when glucose is scarce. It's like switching your car's engine from gasoline to diesel. This metabolic shift is why people often experience rapid initial weight loss, largely from water loss, as the body sheds the water stored with glycogen. But sticking to it is a different challenge. The keto flu, with its brain fog, headaches, fatigue, and irritability, is your body struggling to adapt to its new fuel source, often accompanied by electrolyte imbalances as you lose water. It's a powerful metabolic hack that can be effective for weight loss and has therapeutic uses for epilepsy, but it's not a gentle one for everyone and can be difficult to maintain socially and physically long term. Intermittent fasting. This one isn't about what you eat, but when you eat. Intermittent fasting, or IF, is an eating pattern that cycles between periods of fasting and eating. It doesn't prescribe specific foods, but rather dictates a time window for consumption. Popular methods include the 16-8, where you fast for 16 hours and eat all your meals within an 8-hour window, or the 5-2, where you eat normally for 5 days and significantly restrict calories to around 500 to 600 on 2 non-consecutive days. The theory is that by giving your digestive system an extended break, you allow cellular repair processes to kick in, a phenomenon called autophagy, where your cells clean out damaged components and recycle them for energy. It also helps regulate hormones. Insulin levels drop significantly during a fast, making it easier for your body to access and burn stored fat. For many, the biggest benefit is simplicity. Fewer meals to plan and cook can lead to a natural reduction in calorie intake. But it's not a free pass. You can still overeat or make poor food choices during your feeding window, negating the calorie deficit. For some, the fasting period can lead to irritability, low energy, and an unhealthy preoccupation with food. It's a schedule for your stomach, a timer on your metabolism that works for some body clocks but can disrupt others, and it's not recommended for individuals with certain health conditions or a history of eating disorders. Mediterranean diet. If there's a gold standard in the nutrition world, this is often it. Based on the traditional eating habits of countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea from the mid-20th century, this isn't a restrictive diet in the same way. It's a pattern of eating, a lifestyle. The focus is overwhelmingly on whole, minimally processed foods, an abundance of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Olive oil is the primary fat source, rich in monounsaturated fats and antioxidants. Fish and seafood packed with omega-3 fatty acids are encouraged regularly, while poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt are eaten in moderate portions. Red meat and sweets are for special occasions. It's not just about weight loss, it's about overall health and longevity. Decades of extensive research link this diet to significantly reduced risks of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and cognitive decline. The powerful combination of high fiber, healthy fats, and antioxidants systematically combats chronic inflammation. It's less of a diet and more of a sustainable lifestyle, a fundamental shift toward food quality and long-term health rather than a short-term quick fix. Your body isn't being tricked or forced into a metabolic state. It's being consistently nourished with what it recognizes as high-quality fuel. Vegan. This diet eliminates all animal products entirely. No meat, no dairy, no eggs, no honey. People choose it for a spectrum of reasons: ethical concerns for animals, environmental sustainability, or health benefits. From a health perspective, a well-planned vegan diet is incredibly high in fiber, vitamin C and E, folate, magnesium, and antioxidants from all the plants and is consistently linked in studies to lower risks of heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. But the key word is well planned. Simply removing animal products doesn't automatically make a diet healthy. Oreos, sugary sodas, and potato chips can technically be vegan. The potential pitfalls are specific nutrient deficiencies. Vitamin B12, which is crucial for nerve function and making red blood cells, is not naturally available in plants and must be supplemented. The iron from plants is non-heme iron, which is harder for the body to absorb than the heme iron from meat. Omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, and vitamin D also require conscious effort to include through fortified foods or supplements. It's a diet that demands nutritional knowledge and attention. Your body gets a flood of beneficial plants, but misses out on some easily accessible nutrients, so you have to find clever and consistent ways to get them back to avoid long-term health consequences. Paleo. The premise here is to eat like our Paleolithic hunter-gatherers supposedly did before the advent of agriculture. The idea is to return to the foods humans are genetically adapted to eat, arguing that our bodies haven't caught up to modern foods. This means whole, unprocessed foods, meats, fish, eggs, vegetables, fruits, and seeds. It strictly eliminates what proponents call the Neolithic triggers of modern disease: grains, legumes, dairy, refined sugar, and processed oils. By cutting out processed foods and sugars, people often feel more energetic, experience reduced bloating, and lose weight. The high protein and fiber content from vegetables and fruits is very satiating, which can naturally reduce calorie intake. However, the core scientific premise is heavily debated. The claim that our bodies haven't adapted to foods like whole grains or legumes over thousands of years is contested by many anthropologists and nutritionists. Furthermore, eliminating entire food groups like dairy and legumes without careful substitution can lead to unintended deficiencies in calcium, vitamin D, and fiber. It's a back-to-basics approach, an attempt to reset your diet to a pre-agricultural era, but it's a version of the past that is partially imagined and heavily interpreted through a modern lens. Low carb. This is a broader category that includes diets like keto, but is generally less extreme and restrictive. The goal is simply to reduce carbohydrate intake below the standard dietary recommendation, which is often around 45 to 65% of daily calories, but not necessarily to the ultra-low levels required for ketosis. This means significantly cutting back on refined carbohydrates like bread, pasta, white rice, and sugary foods and drinks, while increasing intake of protein, healthy fats, and non-starchy vegetables. Some plants may allow for modest amounts of whole grains, legumes, and fruits. By lowering overall carb intake, you smooth out the dramatic blood sugar and insulin spikes that can drive hunger and fat storage. This hormonal environment makes it easier for your body to tap into its fat stores for energy between meals. It's often more flexible, practical, and sustainable than full-blown keto, allowing for a wider variety of foods. The body isn't thrown into the metabolic shock of ketosis, but is instead guided toward a more stable energy state with less of the blood sugar roller coaster that characterizes high-carb eating. It's a moderation approach to carb cutting, a sensible middle ground that many find easier to maintain as a long-term lifestyle change rather than a short-term diet. So, how many of these diets have you tried? What worked for you? And what didn't? Let me know in the comments below.